The Great Red Dragon. HILTON HOTEMA. Chapter 12. Man a Degenerate Woman. The one-sided view expressed by modern science as to the development of humanity leads to such a vast amount of confusion that a new theory offered on the subject, if considered without prejudice, may take it necessary to rewrite the history of humanity. Science states that the female is the primary and the original sex, and that the first male, the first son of the Virgin Mother, was ever virgin born. The female is the fertile sex, and whatever is fertile is looked upon as female ward. At this point Swindy says, in the second stage of reproduction, the female produces a fertilizer. Instead of endless daughters, she forms an organism that is unlike herself, but made by herself, of herself, to meet a certain end. It has no power, like the daughters, to reproduce of itself, but yet the mother of the fertile sex destines it to be a fertilizer. Page 27. If the female sex is the reproducing, the fertile sex, the male, generated in her body, the fertilizer, is also female, but a differentiated, incomplete female organism, undeveloped in the distinctive creative organ and functions of the female. Thus there is only one sex, the female, sex differentiation being a transitory phase of existence to attain certain ends in the variation of type and species. The male, the immature, the degenerate organism, Clements, is produced by the female, of the female, from the female, for the female alone. Mystery of the Circle and the Cross. Page 28. In the primary state of reproduction, when the organism is perfect, the function of generation is performed by one supreme unit, in which the dual elements of creation appear in a functional degree. In this stade the offspring is produced by the perfect process of parthenogenesis. As ages come and go, a course of degeneration adversely affected the unit. The perfect organism is weakened. It must have aid or the race will end. Eternal intelligence is equal to the occasion. It develops helpmeets, as we have said, to assist their kin and kind to perpetuate the race. The helpmeets appear as immature organisms, says Swinney, and their function is that of fertilization. Here appears the second stage of reproduction. Swinney. The function is now performed by two imperfect unisexual halves. They must cooperate, coordinate and copulate with each other in order to perform the creative work that was previously performed by a more perfect and powerful unit. The two halves represent the positive and the receptive elements of creation that were present in the original unit. It is shown by all the facts bearing upon the subject, that in this stage of existence, the fertilizer was originally, and still is, produced by the female, of the female, from the female, and that the fertilizer is also female but a differentiated, incomplete female organism, undeveloped in the distinctive creative organs and functions of the true female. Swinney. In very early times the male much resembled the female in appearance. Many scholars have observed this, and Buzzacott says, the ancient Egyptian kings had pronounced feminine features, corroborating the fact that bisexuality existed to a large extent at some remote period of pre-human existence. True, such is an abnormal happening today, but the evidence is irrefutable that, at the beginning of human history, it was a normal event, indicating that evolution from the bisexual to the partial and separate state was gradually developed, evolved and acquired. Mystery of the Sexes. Page 173. Modern science declares that the fertile female is not only the primal and original sex, but continues throughout human existence as the main trunk of the race. This being a fact, the conclusion is that no variation from the main trunk must be considered as conditions of abnormality and malfunction. Out of these conditions came forth the proud creature called man, making him a direct product of degeneration arising from an unfavorable environment and evil habits. Therefore man is an incomplete, undeveloped, degenerate female. According to law, like begets like. The bisexual organism, under favorable conditions, produces its kind. The first imperfect, positive, male cell, and the first male organism, as an entity separated from its bisexual ancestor, was an initial failure on the part of such ancestor to reproduce its kind. Some scholars hold that this was due to a chemical deficiency in the metabolism or the physique of the ancestor. In the evolution of sex, by Geddes and Thompson, and in the determination of sex, by Croflin Hosek of Budapest, this fact is insisted upon with constant reiteration and demonstration. Biology has shown that the female is superior to the male. It has shown that the somatic cell of the female contains more chromosomes than those of the male. The nuclear lines of protoplasm that carry the hereditary and the individualistic qualities of the unit are more numerous in the complex organism of the female than in the more undeveloped organism of the male. In some species, the male cell has 10 chromosomes while the female has 12. In another, the female cell has 38, while the male has only 35. Due to this anatomical fact, Professors Hurst and Castle, of the Mendel School of Biologists, observe, femaleness is due to the presence of a chromosome absent in the male. We may, therefore, regard the female as of more complex organization than the male, and, in that sense, the female may be said to be physiologically the superior sex. We may thus further conceive that either the female is an extra-developed male, and has arisen by the addition of a new factor to maleness, or perhaps more probably, that the male has arisen as a defective variation from the female. Mendelism and Sex. Mendel Hour, October 1909. Commenting on this phase of the matter, Swinney remarks, the male cell, therefore, is a variant daughter cell not developed to the full potentiality of the female. Woman and Natural Law. Page 19. Physiologists are at last grasping the anatomical truth that man is only a degenerate woman. Prof. Albrecht, writing on the obscure diseases of men, clearly avers that males are rudimentary females. T.H. Montgomery concludes, from a general review of the leading facts of development, physiology, and anatomy, that the male is less developed and more embryonic than the female. He draws attention to the fact that when one sex is rudimentary in comparison with the other, it is almost always the male. Some scholars and students of nature have long recognized the fact that man is only a degenerate woman. They assert that the distinctive sex organs of the male are the organs of the female placed outside the body. Swinney. Galen said that women had the same sexual parts as man, only, on account of their colder, more apathetic nature, they are placed within her body. The ovaries are testicles and furnished female seed. He said that there are as many cavities in the uterus as there are in the mammary glands. This is the theory of uterine cotyledons. Averroes, 1120 to 1198 AD, believed the female testicles to be useless. They merely secreted moisture for lubricating the vagina during coition, now referred to by some as sympathy fluid. Fallopius, about 1523 AD, first recognized the similarity in the structure and the formation, as the erogenous zone, between the clitoris and the penis. Vesalius about the same time taught that the sexual organs of the male and female were alike, only, those of women were within the body. Leland says that the prostate in man is simply a womb out of employment alternate sex. Page 33. John Fernelius, about 1558 AD, called the ovaries female testicles.